Well, I'll do a proper intro because if anyone who ever listens to Ash London Live, which is this show, if anyone's ever listened for more than, I'm going to say, like an hour and a half, they are going to know that this is a big moment for the whole show. The very first time we've had the amazing Carly Rae Jepsen on. What I'm trying to say is I'm a big fan. Welcome, Di. It was a roundabout way. Welcome to Australia, mate.
Thank you.
Do you know that about 20 meters from where we are right now at the Enmore is officially the best gelato in the whole of the world? Like it won the award.
I mean, are you telling me this because you know that I'm obsessed with gelato?
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You need to go. It's
Really
called Cow
pumped.
and Moon. And they
Cow and Moon, write it down.
Write it
Yes.
down. And like they beat out like Italy, like proper gelato people.
What's your favorite flavor?
Oh, I like anything hazelnut.
Yeah, it's good.
Like Ferrero
I'm a
Rocher.
Pistachio
Damn.
gelato myself. Very grown-up flavor, if I may say so.
And you're wearing a pistachio color.
I mean, and I do generally, this is a really cheesy fact that I've never said out loud and I probably shouldn't, but when I go for my ice cream, it's such that like Roman holiday moment, I always pick a flavor that matches my outfit.
That's gorgeous.
Even if I don't like it as much as the pistachio that I really want. But today, I'd get all my wishes in one.
It's
You're right.
heaven. But I can't even imagine an ice cream flavor that I wouldn't want. Like,
There's got to be
nothing's
some
coming.
out
Nothing's
there.
coming to me. Like,
There's a really experimental shop in LA, and some of the things that they put in there, I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
Why would
You're
you
just trying to be
just
cool, but
don't
that's
try-
got to taste not as good as chocolate.
well, I'm surprised you even remember LA because I looked at your tour scale. We're so in Australia, and there's a bloody fly, of course.
Oh, no, that's fine.
That is classic.
He's a nice fly.
Wait, there's another one there. We're not lying to the people at home when we're saying we're in Australia. We're in Australia because there's two bloody flies here. I'm surprised you remember LA because I looked at your tour schedule, and since May, you have been like Europe, America, Asia.
Yeah.
Do you wake up every day and like who knows where I am?
Okay, that happened today. No, I live in LA, but it's weird that you're bringing it up. I have to talk about it with somebody. But I woke up in my hotel room, and usually it happens every once in a while where I'm like, where are we today? And it comes to you.
Yeah.
This one, it was like, okay, no, seriously. And I had to like think about it for a
Totally.
concerning amount of time. And then I was so happy to open the curtain and be like, Australia!
And are you that person like me? I travel a bit, but nowhere near CRJ scale. And I'm like, yeah, dude.
Is that a scale?
It is.
Okay.
I just invented it. It's official. It's yes. And I'm like anal about frequent flyer points and things like that. When you get to this period where you like live on the, do you even know anymore, or are you still the person that's like, yes, I got the platinum status?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm
so
such
jealous.
an oblivious traveler, and the luxury of having like the crew that I'm with,
Yeah.
sometimes like I don't know exactly what airline it was that got me here. Like I don't pay attention.
You don't know where you're going.
I
You
am
just follow.
I'm a little lamb, and I follow.
Is that easy for you?
It's awesome. I
Okay,
love
it's
it.
good.
I love it. Yeah,
a lot
no.
of people would struggle with that because, you know, a lot of artists especially have to have like control over things. And I bet you are good at just being like, you do you.
Well, it is a lot of trouble. And in all seriousness, I found a survival tactic for me is being very present and very in the moment and hiring people that you trust, that know what you like and are very organized. And you kind of get to be in this childlike mode. You can't do it when you go home. But for a brief period of time when you're on the road, I don't have to worry too much about what's in advance. The only problem is when I meet a stranger and they're like, so where are you going next? And you're like, oh, I don't actually know. And they're like, oh, but like the next week, where are you going to be? I'm like, I'll be back soon, I think. Like, and then if Jenna or Tony isn't around, I've got to look at my calendar.
That's
but
what
it's,
it's my Violet.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
Violet
yeah,
for that. And
yeah.
did you get yelled at? Violet yells at me. But like in a loving sisterly way. She'll be like, don't be an idiot, Ash. And I'm like, you're right.
oh no, they're quite used to me
Okay,
right
so it's
now.
just me there.
It's just more other people who just like look at me with shock and awe when they're like, yeah. Yes.
And how do you keep a sense of, because I know that you are like us, you're very, I don't want to say spiritual, it's a lame word, but you're very in touch with yourself and you're very into being present and not taking things for granted and taking care of yourself. How do you do that when it's go, go, go? Are there some rituals that you have to do?
I mean, I don't always. I think I'm human with it, where I'll get in like grooves where we were in Asia and I was like, I'm running every day. I'm going to the gym. I'm eating good. And then there's other times where I'm like, I've treated myself
I mean,
like
3 pizzas,
a dog
no
I
one
don't
called
like
me.
or something, and I need to like get it together. So it's ups and downs. But I think that I would say if you ask me like the number one challenge of terrain at the extent that we are are doing, which is a pretty growing pace, is the challenge of staying healthy. Like it really is, because everything else is kind of exciting and fun, and tiredness you can deal with, but like those tight little costumes and all the things, you just gotta some of the venue
is that
showers.
Yours? That frou-frou skirt thing?
Yes.
That is amazing.
Thank you. It's always a risk wearing that little tulle tutu, because it's like a 50% chance I bail tonight on stage. But I feel like that makes for like an entertaining show.
Keeps it interesting. And I saw your fans out the front like a while ago. They're here desperate to get close to you. And it is this cool thing that you have where you really, in your own way, have achieved cult status, because I'm not trying to like suck up, but it's true. Like people don't just like or like whatever, give or take. I don't care. I'll take her or leave her. People are like really obsessed with you.
We don't have like a prayer or anything that we do. It's like pretty normal. Just like
are so deep in. Like that, right? Like people aren't just like, she's okay. They're like, I will have her children and do what I will be like. They love you, and that has got to be such a humbling thing to get out on stage all over the world and see people dressed up in incredible costumes, being themselves, which I think is the best part, there to see you because they really love you so much.
I think it's more, humbling is a very good word for it. There's not a night when we go out where I'm not like expecting the worst and always like pleasantly surprised by the energy. I think that has been the cool thing of like being in Manila, being here for some of these places that I haven't been for a while, and just being like, you guys know the B-sides to like this I'm stoked. Like and then also just I think it's a kind of like a community. You find your people with anything that you create that's art. Like whether it's a jewelry line or a clothing line. Like I made a really strong decision after the Kiss album, Call Me Maybe, that I was like gonna take some time off and figure out what it was that I loved about pop music and what I wanted to offer. And I felt like I trusted that hopefully that would be the recipe for finding other like-minded people who like got off on the same things as me.
Totally.
And so it's been fun to see who that community is. And it's always a really diverse group, but the room is always full of just like joy and celebration, and that gives me confidence, and then we all just kind of get to let
you give them confidence, they give you confidence. So this orb of like love and joy that keeps going around.
It's been like the gift of my life.
So bloody good, man.
Yeah.
And I know that you ran some of this new album in Nicaragua at a writing camp. And I think a lot of people listening would have no idea what that's like. They're like, what do you mean at camp? Like, do you stay in bunks? And this to me, I can't think of anything cooler than like going away. And I think I know where you were. It's like a kind of a surfy, ranchy,
like
amazing
bungalow.
Yeah. So it's people from all over the world.
In Madeiras Village.
Yeah, Madeira. Yeah. So that's got to be like a moment where you can look at your life and go, I'm getting like paid to go to Nicaragua with amazing other creatives. Like that's pretty freaking cool.
There's like a reoccurring thought in my head. I'm like, for example, when we made the cat video for Now That I Found You, and I was we were having like conference calls with all the women who were involved in making it. We're like, should there be like a catnip trip where we get a little high off and we were seriously talking about it, and we're like, yeah, and we should wear and at one point, like someone interjected and they're like, this is our job. Like, someone's paying us to come up with these weird ideas today. Yeah. No, and I think that's the best when you have moments. There's times when it's crazy, there's times when it's hard, but there's other times where you're just like, how did I get so lucky? That's crazy. Yeah.
And do you feel like you're able to have more fun with it now? Like you're 4 albums in and you're a bit older, and I think it's not like you don't take it as seriously, but you give yourself permission to go, well, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm actually just going to have fun.
Yes. There's a lot that I do take too seriously still. I think album selection is one of the things that I still challenge myself with and my assistant with by going crazy for a long time. And every time I'm like, next time I'm just going to pick the songs and that'll be it.
I won't be
write the songs.
Like, so chill about it.
It's just music. Let it go. But no, it's a one spot where I remain like a perfectionist and a little anal. But in every other aspect, I am a little bit more carefree and a little less precious about like, if I make a mistake, what'll happen? Because I've lived through enough of those mistakes to be like, you learn something, you go with it, or you make the most. And it's been a helpful lesson for sure.
And I think that's being in your 30s. Like,
God bless the 30s.
Right? It's a game changer.
Yeah.
Where you're like, how you had all these fucks and then you turn 30 and you're like, oh my God, I don't know where they went. Well, like you give a fuck about the right things, but all those stupid things, you're like, I'm 30, man.
And a lot of that energy isn't as helpful as you think it is. I think there's this feeling that if we're really stressed, then we must be doing really important work versus like you can also be quite more level-headed with the decisions you're making if you kind of have perspective on the whole thing. And I mean, music is not necessarily like groundbreaking work of doctors. My brother's married to a doctor and she's like, I did 17 eye baby surgeries today. And I was like, I couldn't decide what to title my album. And you're kind of like, all right, like, chill out.
And why did you go with Dedicated?
Oh, God. There was a bunch of reasons. There was a little song called Dedicated that I had written for my ex, but I think the name and the meaning of the album's changed for me in hindsight. At a listening party, one of my best girlfriends was like, can we look at like the beautiful mind magic of poster boards that we have over here and all of the graphs? Like if you're not dedicated to something, it's this car. So I think that kind of made a lot of sense to me. And also, very simply, I like the beauty of a one-word title, and it had a nice cadence to me. Dedicated. I'm a weirdo.
You are a music nerd. It had a nice cadence to me. And I love the merch. I saw the merch on the way in, and I'm going to go buy some before all the Carly Rae fans steal it. Like, don't steal it all, but buy it all.
You can steal it.
I would never do that to you. You're a working woman. Working women got to support other working women.
My father came to a show in Boston, and he was like pulling out his $30. I was like, Dad, this is embarrassing. Please take this shirt. He's like, this is a business and I need to support it. And I'm like, we're doing okay. Take a shirt. Yeah. Just so embarrassing.
And what's next? Like, do you still kind of like manifest the next thing or write a list, or is it more kind of organic, or is there something that you're still like, I want to do this kind of an album next, or I want to take 10 years off next? How do you do it?
Travel, weirdly, you're asking me all the questions, but like last night I started to be like, oh, that song and this song. I think I have definite moments just in my personality where I'm like really revved up by it, and then there's other times when like I've been on the road for a while, so I've kind of just been like machine, enjoy, do the thing. I think last night I had a little bit of a turnaround of like, all right, I'm excited to like get going on this next project. I ideally have a dream to get the bit of like the B-sides of Dedicated out. That's always been in my back of my mind. And then I always am writing on the road. I think music is always going to be the first and foremost, but even how to put out other kind of creative stories, whether that's down the line, some sort of Broadway pop musical or a book or something.
You need to do a Broadway pop musical.
Yeah, maybe.
And make Cow and Moon Gelato as like the intermission snacks, like a really solid gelato with some pistachio in it.
I like that.
I will come on board as the official like gelato overseer.
I want to do a Broadway musical just like all the quirkiest characters I've met in my life and somehow thread them together for the pure enjoy. Yes.
Well, do a Broadway musical. Yes. It would
in 10 years. Let's give me some time.
It'd be like Sarah Bareilles. It would be like all your fans would be there. Even if it was a bad musical, they'd still go.
Oh, thank you. That's the sweetest thing anyone's ever said to me. You know what? Now I might just have the confidence to do it. Even if you fail, we'll still support you.
And the last question I'm going to ask you is part of a end of year kind of package thing we're doing about like top songs of the decade. And I need the official statistic from you, Violet. Is it the Call Me Maybe is like top? Putting on the spot.
No, the biggest hit of the 2010s.
Of the 2010s in Australia. So
Holy
the
crap.
teenage years.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So I know that it was a while ago, and like hardcore fans like me are like, but you don't know Cut to the Feeling. It was an amazing song. There's more to Carly. But I know that was a lot, but
I love the enthusiasm.
It's legitimately how I feel because there's more to the story, guys. But when you hear something like that a song that was so long ago over in Australia is the biggest song of like a decade. How do you even approach that?
I don't know. I will say that I lived next door to my uncle growing up, my uncle Steven. And he has 3 hockey playing boys and would always kind of tease me. He was like that tough love uncle that would like just tease you all the time. So you kind of got tough at life.
My Uncle Michael.
And it was like a way of being, it was like his love language of being like, I'm just going to like throw you around a little bit so you get some grit. And I'm so grateful that I did it. But the sweetest thing he ever said to me, he's like, I'm in Australia right now. And I think your song is playing. Call Me Maybe. He's like, you might have like done okay with this one. And he had no fucking clue about any of the stuff that was going on. And I was like, well, thank you, Australia, for finally giving my uncle like a little bit of a look in my direction and a high five. It's taken a lifetime, but I will never forget it. Yeah.
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Australia, and thank you,
Yes.
Uncle Steve.
Yes, yes.
You've made her the woman she is now, resilient
hey.
and ready for anything.
And I finally got that compliment.
You got the compliment from
He's
Steve. Well, Kylie, enjoy the gig tonight.
Thank you.
We can't wait. Thanks for making time. Get yourself some gelato.
I
And
will.
rest up.
What was it? Cow and Moon.
Cow and moon. Like
Okay.
the cow jumped over the moon.
I
think
got
that's
that.
what the
That's like
thing
it. Yeah,
is.
yeah, I
think.
hope so.
It
Yeah.
took me years. Literally, it was like 5 years into my cow and moon journey. I was like,
Clever. Clever.
that is a pretty face, Carly.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you,
good to talk to
darling.
you.